Well, email's missing, and he's still dismissing. Most Americans think it's a cover-up. Why this president is buckling down.
Sometimes the news that's coming off is these are just Washington fights. They're fabricated issues. They're phony scandals that are generated. It's all geared towards the next election.
Oh, wow. That's a relief. So he's back to calling these scandals phony. It might be funny if it were really so. Most Americans don't think it is so, because when IRS emails go missing, a new poll shows a lot of Americans think that something isn't quite adding up and that it's very real. The host of On the Record, Greta Van Susteren, a superb lawyer in her own right, on the legal issues that are cropping up here, because you and I can remember, Greta, it wasn't the Watergate break-in that was the problem for Richard Nixon. It was the cover-up that followed. And missing emails start raising that as a possibility. What do you think?
Well, first of all, there's nothing to connect the president directly to any of this. I mean, what strikes me when the president speaks like he does, talks about phony scandals, I think it's extremely demeaning to those who have been hurt by this, as though he doesn't care, because these are not phony to people who've been hurt. These are real. And talk about being sort of, having a tin ear or being tone deaf in terms of what this means to people. If he's talking about phony scandals and he means the allegation that he's exceeded his power, maybe he ought to talk to the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, they gave him a 9-0 decision. You don't get those. 9-0 for overreaching with the NLRB report appointment or NLRB recess appointments, and two of on the Supreme Court are his own appointments to the Supreme Court. So I think the president, I think the president needs to step back, take a breath, and think about what he's saying to the American people. Because if you've been targeted, it certainly is not phony, and I don't know why he's making fun of it or demeaning them and saying that, he first said they were serious. Now he's making fun of them, saying it's phony.
You're a lawyer. The president's a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I've watched a lot of, Law and Order, so I think I qualify as an expert. So
you do?
Here's what I'm thinking. The president, when he was chatting with Bill O'Reilly, said there wasn't a smidgen of evidence of any kind of wrongdoing. I'm paraphrasing here, at the IRS. Since that time, of course, we've got his email disclosures, and they might or might not, as to your point, remotely involve the White House.
Can I stop you there just 1 second? I don't get this. Listen, not the smidgen of evidence. The investigation hadn't even started. What kind of lawyer says that? I know he went to law school.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you.
We've got a constitutional scholar who just got a 9-0 decision against him. I mean, he taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago. That's not a very impressive number, 9-0. Then you've got a lawyer, and he did the same thing with that problem up at Harvard with the professor and the local police officer.
No, right.
He shoots off his mouth and says that nothing's happened, and he never waits for the facts.
But he has started his own investigation of the IRS at the time, talking to Bill. And, of course, Hillary Clinton, I believe, in your interview with her, I mean, she did think that this bore watching. So what's going on here, really? I
don't know. I mean, a lot of people do think it's serious. Now, the commissioner of the IRS, he refers to it as a mistake to CNN. A mistake is when you back into someone's car in the grocery parking lot and it's a one-time deal, not when you have several people targeted. That's not a mistake at all. That is deliberate. And why he wants to sugarcoat or PC it, and he also calls it, he says the IRS used, quote, inappropriate criteria, which is more PC. Look, when you target people, and what happened with Senator Grassley, I mean, Grassley hadn't done anything wrong, and he's all of a sudden got Lois Lerner wanting to send him off for an audit. I mean, what in the world is going on with her? Where did she think she got all this power, this drunken power? And she's so dead wrong. There was nothing Grassley had done. Grassley hadn't even received the invitation. This is so beyond. And for then the president to say it's phony and demean people who genuinely just want, I don't know where the facts will lead us. Maybe, if it's a phony scandal, if a real true investigation shows it's a phony scandal, so be it. The president can say, I told you so, and good for him. But you know what? He is standing in the way, and so is his commissioner, and so is the Attorney General. They don't want the facts that they'll say it's a phony scandal, but if it is, you'd think they'd want an investigation so that he can say, I told you so.
You might have a future at this legal thing, Greta. Keep it up. I mean, you're getting there, young lady. All right, look for a show. Good stuff. She gets in this all the time. She gets angry, too. I mean, like just now. Greta.
You know what I'm really angry about?
What's that?
It's those cable systems that don't have Fox Business on it. I can't tell you, it makes me so angry.
Check is in the mail, young lady. All right, Greta Van Susteren, thank you very much. All right, how quick?